Hey everybody, it's Mark Masters, Always Bookin Comedy. Looking like a solo start for now. Let me send a quick message. We are live now. And plenty to talk about though. So let's we'll just go backwards in time. Last night I did a show in Frisco, Colorado. Super fun. About 50 people there, which was a dip from the month before, but ski season is winding down. Maybe it seems like all the ski towns were a little less busy in this last week. Had some great comics. Sam Ellefson, who just got passed at Comedy Works. And when I asked him how to introduce him, he said, you can say regular at Comedy Works. He seemed pretty stoked about that. So that was nice. And then Paul Ollinger out of New York City, a longtime Atlanta comedian who I'm going to have to get on here because he runs a bunch of golf course shows that sound pretty interesting. I should say golf club shows, like fancy, exclusive golf clubs. Not the clubs, but a club where people gather and pay dues and look down on other folks, most likely. I wonder, is there a way for me to make this like, I don't know how to. No. All right. I was looking for some Always Bookin Comedy branding. When there's two of us, we slide out, and then it's got all kinds of branding around. I'll work on it. I'll work on this for next time. Oh, look, and our guest is here.
She's here. I'm so sorry, Mark. Please
okay.
forgive me. Forgive me.
Okay.
My gosh. It's the children. Blame my children. I mean, you should blame me, but I'd like
It's
to
all
blame my
good.
kids instead.
It's all good. We're live right now. Welcome.
Hi, everyone.
How are you?
I'm good. Happy
You're
St.
good.
Patty's Day to ya.
Thank
Top of
you.
the morning and all of that.
Yeah. I wore all my green.
Yes, you look
just for the
so
event.
ready. You look so ready.
Yeah.
Is this, do I need to turn my camera the other way? I'm sorry. Hold on.
If you turn it sideways, it should.
Okay. Shut that.
Oh, there you go.
There you go. Can you hear me?
Yep.
Hey,
I can
girls,
hear you.
shut the door. There's children around me because I'm a mom, Mark. Do you girls want to say hi on the podcast?
That's allowed. That's allowed. Okay.
Hi.
Oh my goodness.
Hi.
How cute.
My mom's done.
All
There,
right.
Yes.
I have an older
Okay,
brother.
you go back inside. Thank you.
All right. Go back
All
into the
right.
bar unattended.
Yeah, that's how it should be. That is how you should be raising children these days.
Don't let them card you. Sneak in. Go under a table.
Get in there, kids. Get in there. Have fun. Show them what being Irish is all about, and a comedian. Oh gosh, they're just big nose, busybodies, nosy bodies.
Okay.
So
okay. Sure.
yeah.
So I was just talking about golf club. I was reminiscing about a show last night. One of the comedians runs shows at fancy golf clubs, and I feel like you do something kind of similar.
Yes.
Right?
Yeah.
Tell us about that.
Yeah. So I have a show called Parenthood Punchlines, and I'm actually running it. I'm going to move over here. I'm actually running it this weekend. I've got a show in Missoula, Montana, and then we're going over to Salmon, Idaho, and Elin Stribling's going to be on that with me.
Nice.
But it's really
look at him taking advantage of his new parenthood.
I know. That's the only reason to have kids, honestly. Get on these shows, right? It's what you should be doing with it. If you're not, you're just a joke. No. But it's a fun it's going to be a fun show. It's actually going to be my first time doing it at a country club, but I grew up in the country club space. Thank you so much. I'm wearing my Irish country club
look at that.
Sweatshirt tonight. So,
wow.
But my grandpa was a golf pro, PGA player. My aunt was, my dad was, built golf courses. So
How are you at mini golf?
Gosh, my short game can always be improved. And
just the fact that you knew the word short game makes me not want to bet with you. on a
Thank
golf
you.
course?
Thank you. I mean, toot my own horn, humble brag, but I had the hallways lined with trophies growing up. I was a golfer, so junior golf in Billings, Montana. In the 90s, you didn't want to see me coming with my bag of clubs,
Okay.
not really, but I love golf. I have so much fun playing golf,
I
and
bet you were great in January in Billings.
I
Yeah,
was so
real
good for
fun.
a moment, so
So
good.
you hit a buffalo.
Thank you for thank you for believing in me, Mark. Um, yeah, so when I started producing shows, I was like, I should reach out to golf courses. Like I'm not currently a member at any golf courses, but I grew up in that scene. I feel like I can, a lot of that is like learning to talk to the audience and who they are and knowing, things about them. And country club is its own type, as you probably know. So
I'm pretty unfamiliar. I've been booked on country club shows, but
yeah,
other than that, most of them have a free buffet. That's about all I know.
yes, yes. Tickets
And
for
so I'm
this
pretty
one is a
excited about
buffet.
that. I would, if you're a comic and you get booked at a golf course, go early because
You're
there's
like,
usually
you're
free
gonna get
food.
fed.
And,
You're
and
gonna
my
get
my
fed.
take on the buffet is you really want to get there early.
Yeah.
You don't want to get
Oh,
the dregs. I emceed this fireman's ball recently, and I was the last person through the buffet line, like
yeah.
100th person, and I did not care for it.
I that same thing happened to me at a event recently, and our table was the last one, and it was like there was no salsa, and
Yeah,
it,
I was on stage just watching people sneeze in the food the whole time, and then uh, finally
yeah,
I got a break and got to
yeah,
go.
and you were like those literally have boogers on them. That
Yeah,
lettuce literally,
it was a drag, but it's
yeah,
always nice to get free food at a gig. I like that.
yeah,
So I do like country clubs in that respect.
yeah.
And actually, I did a country club gig where they let us use the locker room.
Oof.
And the locker room was like fancy, like Caddyshack. It
Yeah,
had a steam
yeah,
shower,
oof,
so a sauna, and we
yeah.
had like an hour before showtime. So you better believe I hadn't showered in like 3 days. So very nice to. No, I'm just kidding. But we did we did get
That
in
would
the
be like
sauna and the steam
that's like
shower
a
and take a
great
shower. They
bit.
got free combs and free
Yeah.
like
Oh yeah.
toothbrushes and
It's the best. Like the stocked country club, Boulder Country Club has a great stocked um,
bathroom.
bathroom and like snacks. Anytime there's snacks in a bathroom, I'm like, where can I subscribe to this lifestyle?
I've never
So,
heard of that. What kind
oh
of what are
yeah.
we talking about? They're not wet, I hope.
Yeah, no, they're
They're
not
not
in
like
the steam
floating.
shower with you. No, they have like a full, like they have a bar, a fridge that has lots of different drinks in it, and then they have like tons of to go. So if like people are stopping between like the front nine and back nine, they can run in and they can just like grab, like they're all in cups, and it's like Chex Mix and trail
Okay.
mix and just like
Okay.
little snackies. And I'm
Nice.
I'm all
Nice.
for little
So
snackies.
how
I
do you
think
tell
that's the
me
thing. Yeah. Sorry. Go
how
ahead.
are you signing up these golf clubs? What's the trick? How do you get in there?
The
Especially as a non-member.
Yeah.
They might not even
Um,
allow women at some of these clubs. How are you
I
doing it?
know, I know. Can you believe it? Oh my God, they're talking to females now. It's like a horrible time to be
It's a new
alive.
century.
Uh-huh, yeah. Um, I always say I have the boldness of an average white male, you know?
Okay.
I just call
You have some
and I'm
privilege.
like, hey, yeah, you just have to call people most of the time and be
Okay.
like, hey, this is who I am. This is what I'm doing. The reality is, for most places, they want to be entertained, which is funny as I think most comedians and then like producers in general, you can get kind of this like, I don't know if they'd want us here doing our thing. And it's like, if you've got something like some sort of solid product, concept, idea, whatever it is, uh, people are people are excited to be entertained. It's a great
Hmm.
thing. It's a lovely, it's a lovely new world. I don't even know if that's new, but yeah, I just call, tell them what I'm about, and
Do you say you'll bring equipment or do you ask them to provide equipment? How do
absolutely
you
not.
No? Okay.
Absolutely not. I say, so I mean, So before comedy, I've been in comedy for like being a comedian for like a year.
Okay.
Um, but before this lifestyle, I've been in marketing for like 15 years and events management. And so when I moved to Colorado, I moved to put the Rocky Mountain Cigar Festival together.
Okay.
So that was kind of my.
Where was that?
So it's still going, and it's in Broomfield. So it started in Boulder, which is funny because that's kind of the anti-smoking capital of the world. But do what you got to do.
Is it like outdoor with tents, or how do you?
Yeah, yeah, it's
Interesting.
outdoor. So it's been at the Omni for the past I think like 8 years, 6 years, something
Okay.
like that. So yeah, but it's been really because of that pathway or trajectory. I just and I kind of just have a business mind for things. Like I go in with, all right, here's my one page. This is what the thing is that I'm doing. This is what we need. This is how it will serve you. This is its price. Just kind of like lay it out. Most of the time, if you come in with something pretty solid, I feel like in one page or less, people are willing to hear you out.
Hmm. That's smart. That's
That's
nice.
my tips.
Yeah,
Tips
that's
from
good.
Mimi.
That's good. How
Yeah.
about so once you actually like run the show, anything different about a country club audience versus, I don't know, a downtown bar or a comedy club or open
Most of the
mic?
time, I mean, like if you're at a country club, you know that the clientele is probably got some money, right? I mean, most country clubs got money, and people that have money like to talk, and they like to talk about themselves. They're a lot of times very proud of a lot of the things that they've done, and they're actually very fun and interesting people. So I do feel like like the crowd work is important because you can't go in and not engage the audience at all. You can't come in and like just bring the show and not, you know, uh, and not kind of try to find a couple people in the audience at least. Sorry for the wind. I don't know why I'm apologizing for
Okay,
the wind.
your phone is doing a great job. I can see the wind, but I can't hear it.
My God, thank you.
Fancy phone.
Yeah, so it's an iPhone. Thank you.
Okay.
There's a band that just started right behind me.
I
So,
also can't hear that. So,
gosh, we're doing great.
hmm.
Um, yeah, so uh, I mean, I say all that, and also like this will be my first country club show, so we'll see. Maybe it'll be terrible, but I have been.
How are tickets happening? Is it just like free for the members, or do you have any idea
Yeah,
what
so
capacity is going to be?
when I start, like, so I've produced a few events, comedy events, but really, and then I've produced a lot of events, and the thing that I hate the most is having to sell tickets and rely on tickets. So my MO, or the way that I go about things, is to sell what I'm bringing as a full package to the business, and that they're in charge of tickets. So it's like they can ticket their members, they can provide it for free for the club. I don't care. It's however they want to do it. And
Uh,
so most of the time it's, and the thing is that, like, again, when you're dealing with people that have a good amount of money, again, it's like they're very like, oh yeah, we'll have this show and we'll do a buffet and we'll take whatever your cost is, we'll divide it by how many seats we want to have, and it's going to be like $60 a head or something like that. And they're like, and then it just sells out,
awesome.
because people join a club because they want to be social and they want to be out. Like, it's the whole reason they're there. That's why they pay dues. That's why they pay money. They want to be there, and so they'll show
Yeah.
up for an event.
Yeah, that's wild. The guy I was talking about, his ticket prices are usually around $100 a piece, which just
Yeah,
blows my mind.
yeah,
Like my tickets are usually like 25 to $40,
yeah.
which I think is expensive.
Yeah, it's
Uh,
expensive for just a comedy show, but it's expensive
right.
for a general public comedy show where you don't know the headliner most of the time. You bring in incredible headliners, but most of the
I
time
do, but
there's
nobody
just so
knows
many.
them.
but no
Yeah.
one knows who there's so many damn comedians. As I've gotten into this industry more, that's been the like most fun thing. I'm like, of course, I had my favorite comedians growing up and going, but getting to meet all these people and getting to like meet these comedians that, they, once you know their name, you can find them online and find their moment of stardom and fame. But most of the time, it's like, oh, I don't know who that is.
Right.
And then you hear them and you're like, this is phenomenal. I would sit and
Yeah.
listen to this person all day. This is
Yeah.
great. Yeah.
That's cool. We got a question from online from North
Oh,
Carolina. Why do
hi.
you think you don't like selling the tickets, but don't mind doing your one-pager marketing pitch?
Oh, it's mostly because I don't want to be stressed about ticket sales. And also, then my costs are fixed and my revenue is fixed. And so I know how much going into it. I need to pay my headliner to get the person that I want,
Hmm.
and to make the show the way I want it to be. Like, I like to make sure there's flowers on the stage and I like to have little prizes for people in the audience because I like to have a good time and like to make people feel welcome. And so I want to do it my way. And turns out you can just do shit your way, which is great. Loves it. I love it.
That's awesome.
Um, and so, so many children are looking at me like, what is this woman doing out here? Um, but especially with selling tickets, I just don't want, I want to be stressed about making sure the show is running as it should be.
Yeah.
I don't want to be stressed about, are there people in the audience? And did I make any money on this?
Yeah.
Because that's stressful. I've had lots of events like that, and
Yeah. I had a show
sucks.
recently, sold 6 tickets. It's pretty
uh,
brutal. But I
it's
had
brutal.
4 pretty much sold out shows as well. It was
Yeah,
sandwiched in the middle.
yeah.
So
I
you
think
win some,
anyone
you
who
lose
runs
some.
shows knows that too. You're like, that's, I don't know. Some days it's like there was the high school went to state, and there's this other person in town, and like the community just didn't show up, and
Hmm.
that's hard, especially when you're putting something together that you're excited and I think most comedians are doing this because they love to make people laugh and they want to like bring people into that. And so it's all good things. So especially when it's like you're not trying to like hex people, but you're trying to do good things for them and they don't show up, and you're like, what? Come on, please,
Yeah.
please.
So you were talking about there's so many comedians. Who are some people you've been really excited to have booked? And who's like what's your dream? Like if somehow you could book somebody, who are some of those
Yeah.
comics?
Yeah, so I've booked Janae Burris in Denver, who's
Mhm.
amazing, and then Eland, which I
Dribbling,
mean, we
super
just
funny.
got, yeah, so funny, and I mean, it was truly being down at Comedy Works and being like, hey, I'm trying to put this show together. Do you want to do it? This is what I could pay you. This is what would be included. Can you make that work? Because I also want to make it work. Like on my side, I want to make it work for the comedian too. Like
Hmm.
I. Uh, in doing this, like I have 2 kids. I left like a job that was like a good job, and uh, I need. I should be terrible to say. Like I want to make money. I want to
Yeah,
make good
no,
money at
that's. I
this,
mean, you deserve it.
and
You're working hard.
and
So.
so it's like I don't want to. Um, I just can't. I don't want to come in and be like, I can only pay you this much, which is fine. Like I'll take shows that they're like, I can only pay you this much, but I'm like, but I want to be able to say, hey, you've got this and it's guaranteed and it's taken care of. And I want my comedians to come in and feel like not only was that a really fun show they just did, but like Mimi made that so much like, oh, she made it really, and like really hospitable. Like, I want to make you food beforehand, like I, I'm away from my family to do this stuff. And I love my family. So I better love hanging out with you too. That's kind of my vibe on the whole thing. Um,
Nice.
yeah, my goal, maybe not as a producer, but as like me, so my goal going into comedy is I want to open for Trevor Noah. That was like
Oh,
there's
cool.
my big
I
one
saw
that
him
I want to
once.
do.
Have you ever been to the Comedy Cellar in New York City?
Um, I've walked by it. I
Okay.
hung out at the Grizzly Pear.
Pear,
Yeah,
Grizzly Pear.
at
Yeah.
the Grizzly Pear.
Yeah, so there's
Yeah,
showroom right below it. They have three different showrooms over there, but the one
yeah,
below it is the smallest one. I don't know, 7,500 seater. And I
yeah.
saw Trevor Noah in that room
My
once.
gosh, that
Really
would have been,
cool.
yeah,
He was so good. And I was very new to comedy
yeah,
and had not experienced just like he was so it was almost like there's like a hypnotic element to comedy, and I definitely got hypnotized by him. Like
yeah,
I remember having this realization in the middle of his set that I could remember the beginning when he was talking about rain outside, and it was like very in the moment and organic, and somewhere he switched to like material. I didn't even know that word then, but he switched to material, and it was like everything was so tight and perfect, and I never noticed the transition, but I was like completely like I was like mesmerized by what he was doing on stage. It was really a
yeah.
neat experience.
That's he. I love his style because he's so storyteller. I mean, the South African piece. I love the cultural piece, and I love how he just really he finds humor in all of his interactions,
Yeah.
and
Did you read his
he's
book?
what?
Did you
Oh
read
yeah,
his Yeah.
yeah, 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 yeah. So I just he's really a fascinating person to me. I like his politics a lot too, or how he explains politics.
Mhm.
And I think the whole perspective of like being from outside of the U.S. and also all of the places he's visited, he's not precious about it, which most Africans are. We're like, especially talking about Trump, they're like, you should see some of our guys. Like, okay, yeah, we know. Yeah, you'll be fine, America. I mean, it
Yeah.
sucks. This is terrible. You should be worried, but we've been here. We've seen it. It's good. We're good. So,
Yeah.
um, yeah, they can just have a way of right sizing things. You know.
Hmm. Okay, cool. Is there we got about 10 minutes left. Is there anything else that you want to cover? Anything you think people would find interesting about, I don't know, where you are in comedy, your show running?
Oh my God, is this about me, Mark?
It's all about you. I'm very hospitable as well, or I
Oh, you
try to be.
are. You are. This is so nice.
Yeah.
I really appreciate you asking me to be on this. This is really cool. I've
Hmm.
enjoyed so much, like, just getting into the comedy scene and meeting people, and everyone's been like very open-handed for the most part about things. I mean, it's like
Let's hear
any.
about the non. Let's hear about the sling some dirt for us, Mimi.
Yeah. Do you want me to tell you? You want me to spill some
You,
tea? Do you want me to like
yeah,
tell you
yeah.
some
You don't have to
things?
name names, but let's hear what's difficult about comedy.
Oh gosh. It's mostly just that everyone uh hold on one sec. Hey, what do you guys got? Oh, you're gonna play in that field? Okay, now my son and his friend are out here. Um, I come in and I talk to people, just I'll talk to anyone. I really truly like love people. I got into comedy because so I have cystic fibrosis, which is like a terminal chronic disease. And I was diagnosed at birth, and I have diabetes, arthritis, osteoporosis, like cancer. Just if there's a disease, for the most part, it's in this body. Okay,
Okay.
she's doing so good.
If you watch an
Um,
episode of Grey's Anatomy, you've been
exactly, you'll
there.
understand. And there's actually I'm on a new drug, a gene modifying drug. It's the first of its kind, really, and it's truly changed my life. Like I've always chased since I've been born a baby. I've been chasing like the average lifespan, and this medication that I started actually in 2020 is like changed my life, and it's given like it's when you're as sick as I am, you always expect your health, like as you get older, to decline, and the fact that my health has gotten better is just insane. And so I'm sort of like on, extra time.
Aw.
Love it. I know it's a goddamn inspiration. Thank you so much. Um, and humor has gotten me through so much. Like in being a sick kid, I lived in the hospital a lot. And I find humor to be a place where I can connect with people in like their hardest moments, right? Like
Yeah.
just being able to make the joke and just being able to be like, yeah, it sucks here, doesn't it? You know, like, well, that sounds shitty, and not try to sugarcoat it. Just sort of like say the real thing and let people have that emotional experience. So I said all of that backstory to say that's why I got into comedy. And so I just don't fucking care who you are. I've never cared. I will talk to you. Like if you want to talk to me, I'll talk to you and I'll go to anyone. I think that the way that systems, I've always just been like a person who people who build systems and like systems hate because I'm like, oh, I skipped like 3 rings and I just went and talked to that person. And so I have felt that for sure from a few people like, well, you just started. You can't do that. You can't. And I'm like,
Mm,
no, I can fucking do it. And you can too, if you want to. Just go do it. Like
yeah.
I'm not here to like take your spot. I'm not here to like be anything but myself. And I hope other people will just be themselves too and live really fully into it.
What do you
So
have an example of something that skipping rungs or what you mean by like something that people would be put off by, I guess?
oh, I did get gosh, it was so the way I started, I sent like a terrible reel of myself to it was like probably my second time doing comedy. To Andrea from Moms Unhinged and was like, I'd love to be on your show, you know.
Hmm.
And she was, hey guys, field only, field. Thank you. Don't worry. Just don't worry about me yelling at kids. Um,
Multitasking, very
yeah,
impressive.
yeah, always. It's the mom eyes. I can
Yeah.
see all these kids. Um, but and I said something and she was very gracious. Like she was like, "Yeah, you can be on a show." And you know, now knowing what I know, I'm like, "God, that was so nice of you. God, that was so nice of you. I know what I sent you. It wasn't good." Um, but then I got into that group, and I said, I mean, there's a couple comedians in that group that I feel like I can't say the
Aw.
right thing. I have like, and
I
I've
see. So,
gotten
so you got booked on
messages.
a show, and the
Hmm.
people who were also on the show were like, this is a party foul for you to be here," or something like that.
It wasn't. It actually wasn't that. The people that have been on the shows and have been fine. It's like how I talk about like the thing I want to do. Like, hey, have you guys thought about doing this or like
Uh,
throwing ideas out there?
okay.
And then it'll be like the group. And like I remember it was like 1 month into comedy, and I had said something, and I got this very long message from a producer that was like, hey, I'm just trying to help you, but you can't say that to people aren't going to like you if you say that. You can't approach people that way. And I was like, okay, thank you. I appreciate you trying to look out for me. This was the meanest thing anyone has said to me, though. Just so you know, that person didn't say anything mean to me, but this feels ouch, but that's okay. I
Yeah.
think at the end of the day, I mean, I think that,
So what you're saying is maybe when you're brand new, you provided unsolicited advice that maybe wasn't taken. You know, it was like, who are you to
oh,
try
yeah,
and give advice?
yeah,
Okay.
totally. Like, who are you to
Yeah,
say
that's
that
an
you'll do
interesting
that?
thing
Trying
about
to, yeah,
comedy, I think, because even if you're brand new at comedy, if you're older, sometimes you're expert in other areas. Like it
yeah,
sounds like you have a real strong business
yeah,
background. Um, so
yeah. Yeah, no, I it got really loud. Um, but yeah, no, I do think that, and it is one of those things that I'm like, I know I'm new. I know I'm like a newbie in this, so it's totally fine. I just take it as like people are still talking to me. All right, that's
yeah.
great. You know?
So okay, let's change topics real quick. So let's say you're running a show in 2026. That's like more than 6 months from now, a year from now. Trevor Noah is unavailable or too expensive, but you're getting better at this country club stuff. Like who's somebody who might be reachable? What's a goal, a target for you? Somebody you'd like to book? And I guess do you always run parent shows? So do they have to be a parent?
No, so I did the parent one because I was actually on Nancy Norton's like Nurses Off the Charts, because I reached out to her and I was like, hey, I have a disease. Would you like me to come up and do, like, from the patient perspective? I can do some minutes. Again, the confidence of an average white male right here, right here. I could do that. Oh my gosh, thank you. Um, but I reached out to her and said, and was on that show, and then I've been on Moms Unhinged, and then just going to shows, I'm like, oh, just my marketing brain is like niche audiences. This is where it's at.
Mm.
The audiences are so much fun, and you immediately connect with people. Like, you can come in and it's just like that immediate goodwill. And for a comedian to have goodwill with an audience right away is amazing. And so that's why you gotta go around. So that's why I did the parenting one. I've been working a lot with the CF Foundation. I hopefully will do some
Is there a
CF comedy.
famous, are there any famous comedians that have CF?
No, I actually found this gal on Fringe. It's okay, sis. Just go around. Um, I found a gal that just went to the Fringe Festival, who has CF. She's from Scotland. And I was like, how dare you? How dare you? And she was like, don't ever come over to this island either. And I was like, that's right. We can't be doing that. No, I'll be the most famous CF
You'll be the
person.
first. I think America's Got Talent got canceled, unfortunately. But
Yeah, that was, they had there was like two CF singers, sister singers at one point that were kind of famous.
okay.
Celine Dion, her friend died from CF, so she was pretty, lots of, uh-oh, baby. So,
All right. We should
but I
probably
think,
lean this.
yeah, I was just gonna say, I think, um, I'd like to, this Longmont Comedy Festival thing might happen.
Oh, cool.
And I would love to get, um,
Do you have any
Derek's.
questions about festival stuff? I mean, you can ask me
Cool.
offline too.
I'm gonna have to ask you more offline. We should have
Okay.
talked more about that, but,
Okay.
yeah, my hope would be to get Derek Stroop to headline that. That would be like
That's awesome.
amazing. So I'll put that
It's
into
so
the
funny,
universe.
like what's really cool about that, I was just talking to Edward Bell, who's a local Denver comic, and I want to say he said he used to book Derek for $150 for
Yeah.
out of town gigs.
Oh my
Like,
God. I cannot
and
even.
me, like I mean, I booked Derek
Yeah.
many times. I've
Yeah.
had him in Aurora, in Vail multiple times. Like,
Yeah.
he did the very first Vail comedy show, which is probably
That's
what I'm best
amazing.
known for. And now he's like, I mean, I think he's unreachable, basically.
Yeah.
I
No,
mean, I
I
could
think he's
text
got to
him,
be.
he'd text me back, but if I wanted to like book him on something,
Yeah.
he's,
He's
I'm
like,
sure
no,
he'd pass me off to
I'm
managers and
good,
agents.
guys.
And,
It's like, I'm good. I'm doing just fine. I don't need your shows. Thank you so
yeah.
much. No. And that's great.
Um,
I mean, it's really cool how many people have come through the Vail Comedy Show, and I gotta give you some props, because you've really,
that's
like
kind.
the way
Thank
that
you.
you've run it and how people have grown. And as a newbie in the scene, I really appreciate you, Mark. You've been
Oh,
more than generous on many occasions. So
thank
thanks for
you.
being a good guy in it.
Yeah, I try. I do my
I mean, you're
best.
still a white male, so we should cancel you immediately.
Yes, of
But
course. They're looking. They're always
good,
looking for
good, good,
something.
good. Yeah, canceled. But
They're not
yeah,
gonna find it.
uh,
Okay, great. How can
yeah.
people track you down? Go to your shows? Maybe they're not public shows. I don't know.
Yeah, the country club ones are they're private, but I will be in Salmon, Idaho on Saturday, and then God, I need to book some more shows. So find me on Instagram is where I'm most active, but it's just
Okay.
Mimi Salonen, and then my website is mimisalonen.com, but it's currently broken. But just bookmark it, guys. It'll be up this week, because I was like, oh crap, I got to get that thing working again. So,
Amazing. All right. Well, this has
yeah,
been really fun to chat.
yeah.
Thanks, and I'm
Thank
sure
you
we'll
so
chat
much for having me on. And
more.
yeah,
Stick around for 1 second. Bye,
yeah.
everybody. We'll see you next Monday. As
Bye,
always.
you guys.